So when you guys are playing against Darius on this side, something you got to know, never walk through this bush, ever, 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 ever. Even if you have to leash, it's never worth it, because if he is there, it can be really bad. If you're leashing, save your Q and Q over this wall, and then just walk the tower through here. It's way safer, because you're not going to win the 1v1 if you walk in here and he's like already waiting for you. It's not going to be good. You're just going to die, and then your whole lane is over. And you got to be very careful with this lane too. It's very volatile. Yo, what's up, boys? Bruno up here, bringing you a matchup guide for Fiora into Darius. We're going to jump right into it. If you ever get in a tight spot, you can actually just ignite the Darius, and it will typically scare them away, which there's a few moments where we'll actually see that. So what we're looking for in this lane is to actually go for max range Qs. So we kind of want to be a little patient here at the start. And we want to see what he picked. What did he level up first? We want to know. If it's Q, we can trade. It's E, we can trade. We just have to know which one it is. So you'll notice me doing like these really long range Qs and trying to hit him from a distance. That's typically the goal. When we look at Darius's cooldowns, we see the Q as a 9-second. The W as a 5-second. Obviously, it is reduced if he kills the target, which on minions. So if you see him hit a minion, then he can use it again pretty quickly. So be careful of that. W is typically the scariest thing that we can't really trade off of on level 1, just because he's just using it to last hit minions and then getting the mana cost back and half the cooldown. So it's usually W's the scariest thing. Now E has a really long cooldown. It's like the same as parry. Like we're talking 24 seconds cooldown down to 14, and ours is 24 down to 16. So at level 1, and he's not going to level up his E early. So when he has E, if we can ever bait that out of him, the reason I'm trying to get these long-range Qs in the first place, I'm trying to absolutely max range the Q circle, because when you use your Q, it's got a little bit more distance to it. It's a pretty decent circle. I mean, you can Q, and it's like from this rock right here, and I could hit this minion with my Q. So we're trying to max range it, because we don't want to really go too hard if we don't have the opportunity to hit everything. Typically, we want to take him down at least a couple, 200, 300 HP. By the way, that long-range Q missed the Vital. I wanted to hit the Vital there. Did not get it. So it's a little bit more patient, and you'll notice that we literally will do this for most of the lane, where we're just long-range Q, trying to long-range Q, and if Darius ever pushes you in early, you just have to concede. So typically level 1 you're going to lose if you try to all in because of stacks. There's not many champions that can beat Darius level 1, but we're looking to get trades on him level 1 so that we can go for the all in with level 2, because our Q plus parry plus ignite is typically enough to kill him, because we'll actually slow his attack speed, right? The parry will actually slow his attack speed by 50% for 2 seconds, which is going to stop the stacks from actually building up. So if we can get a Q and then get a poke or 2 on a front-facing Vital when we're level 1, and then level 2 rolls around, well, our Ignite is going to put out about 110 damage or 90 damage at level 2, which is really a lot when you think about it. When we go back to the level 2, I mean, that's more than 10%, so we can rely on that to be more than 10% there, right? So you can typically win that, and it's surprising, but you can. But a lot of people get fully stacked and they get a little afraid, and you definitely should not be. If I am fully stacked and I have nothing left to give, like, typically I'll use my parry at max range because I know I'm safe then afterwards, right? So this is like his max range E pool. At this point, I've used everything. This is my final trade, but it's also an opportunity for him to pull and go for it. So you just want to like parry from max range, make sure you're good and you don't get hit by it. Because if I do see the pull, it gives me an opportunity to react and flash if I need to. Just because I'll already like 3 stack. You're looking to take quick trades, never get fully stacked, get like 2 or 3 stacks, trade them, and then get out of there, basically. So here we got like 2, so we kind of wanted to come down a bit, so we'll wait out the stacks, let them drop, and we'll keep trying to trade, basically. This is a good little fight here that I like. This is what I'm talking about when people say that when they get like afraid. So I do end up getting pulled here, but instead of just like trying to run, he ghosts for me. Now if I try to run, there is no point. I'm just going to die. So I instantly ignite him. Instantly ignite him, and then I'm holding parry till the last second here. So now he's got 4 stacks. We hit this, and then get a little bit lucky with the Vital, but understanding the Vitals is also what's very helpful, right? Because we know that the Vital's gonna, if the Vital spawn here or here, that the next one is going to spawn either here or here. So it's just like good positioning. Once we see a Vital faced on these two, we're kind of like just trading them back and forth, and we know that we had one that was below him, so we have a chance to either have one right here or right here on the top or the right. So this is just perfect, and we have our parry up as well. And now looking back, and we're like kind of looking at his cooldowns in this situation as well. After he's used everything's down because his cooldowns are so high. So at this point, we're about to be fully stacked, which we are actually on this last auto he just took. We're fully stacked, but he can no longer do anything. We held our parry, we still have Q, we just win this. even though he ghosted and did everything that he needed to do to be aggressive, we still win by playing out the vitals, getting the heals, getting our poke, and responding with an instant ignite. If he goes aggressive, you go aggressive. If he ghosts you, just ignite him. It doesn't have to kill him. The ignite is for pressure. The ignite is to make him back off a bit. So obviously, we can't do anything sketchy here because he does have flash. So we're just going to back. And then we'll come back to lane, and we're going to do the same thing, even though it's level 6. But when you have level 6, it's a little bit different. When you have a little bit level 6, if he doesn't have healing reduction, which he does by healing reduction here, but even with healing reduction, because it's been nerfed so much, you can actually still look for those very aggressive plays, right? So we are looking for any opportunity that we can get those poke damage off on him, cut his HP down a bit, and then we're looking for, typically we want our ignite up when we go for it, but if we get him down like to 75%, we can usually just look for an all-in with our ulti, hold our parry for his R, because his R is a big animation, it's easy to react to. We can get the kill. So you'll notice I am just trying to front face these vitals, dodge the Q, which I'm not actually dodging, which is kind of lame. But remember, his cooldowns are high, so if he uses his E or uses too many abilities, then we can definitely go for it, right? So if he ever misses us with his Q or something like that, that's typically a green light to go all in, which we'll actually see here in a moment. So we're the same level, which makes me feel comfortable. I've got Grasp, I have Sheen, I get a good front-facing Vital. He misses his Q, uses his W. I know those are both down. He didn't kill the target, so it's the full cooldown. We did have to flash, which is unfortunate, but it was kind of flashy, so it was kind of cool. Now, obviously, we want to avoid getting pulled at all costs. Now, I'm trying to parry him to assume that he's going for a full lengther here, because he knows I'm walking in. And typically somebody's going to turn around and try to E you because it's going to be just weird. You don't expect it. So I'm trying to max length parry that. So now I know that all he has available right now is his E. All he has available right now is his E. And I only have one stack. His ulti is not going to do anything until he hits me 4 more times. So this is a green light. You just ult this and you go for it. He misses Q, he hits you with a W, and he's walking away. Use the parry to slow him if you want, but this is where you got to be ready. So you got your hand, your finger on the flash key, and you're ready to flash away from the E. Because it's pretty, his E is pretty reactable. I mean, you see it come out, and he pulls it back in before it hits you, so you have enough time to actually react. So even if we slow it down a bit, you'll see we have a pretty decent window there to actually go for it. And even if we get pulled, all we have to do is hit those next vitals. He still does not have 4 stacks after the pull, the auto, the Q. He still did not have full stacks, so we had enough time to actually get pulled and still win that. So this is going to be a moment where we just have a gank, and we go for it, we ignite instantly, and then we're going to look for that max range stun. So right when I turn around to walk away, you would assume that he's probably going to try to pull you back in because he knows that you are not committing anymore and you were trying to walk away. So that's a good time to throw a parry, but it's also a very safe time to throw a parry because even if you don't get the kill, so if we look at this again, even if I don't stun him there, then he gets hit with the parry, and then he pulls me in, and then I have my Q up, and I just Q away. Even if Talon is not here. There's no way for me to die here, basically. Because even if that just slows him, he'll pull me in. I'm not in the tower range. This is basically like the last... I stopped just at the right time before we would hit the tower, and then we have our parry still. And even if we would have got... Imagine, if he pulls me after or if he pulls me before, I would still have my parry up to hit him with the slow him, and then I can just get away. So it's no big deal. But basically, that's how you want to play the lane out. Darius can seem scary, but it's only if you let it be scary. As long as you're aggressive, you play it as aggressive as he is, but you're kind of like working him a little bit because you're keeping your range on him, you're using your movement speed. He's an immobile champion. He doesn't have any dashes, he doesn't have any of that stuff that you have. I still think this lane is kind of, I wouldn't say it's easy, but I would say it's more like 50-50 for Fiora. Imagine if I had gotten away, which I could have, but I chose to be greedy, which is the wrong play. The right play is to actually just stun the person who's not spell shielded and then just run back to your tower. And I was like, nah, I'm going to fight this Morgana. So I just went for it. Obviously we die. So basically that's how the laning phase is going to go. So obviously we do have the lead. He got that tower, which kind of sucks, which gives him a little bit more gold, but we're keeping our XP lead from the solo kills that we got on him. And now we get, the tower as well, which will give us a bigger gold lead. So now we have, 500 gold more than him. This was a little bit sketchy, got ganked, couldn't get out. You got to be careful of that. I'm just being a little bit greedy this game, but this is a good game for me to show you what not to do and understanding why you shouldn't. This is kind of like a what to do and what not to do, right? So look at this for a second. Notice I was very greedy this game, I'll admit, but I think it's good to show both sides of it, right? To see the good and the bad and know what to do right and know what you're doing wrong. So obviously, remember in the laning phase, we're trying to poke him and get set up for the most, proper fight possible. We want to cut some HP down, make sure we don't have stacks, make sure we have ignite. We want to check all the boxes before we go in. So this is what happens when you try to be cocky against Darius, though. I know that I had solo killed him before, and I was like, let's just go for it. And then you'll see that this is just bad, right? We get hit by everything. Absolutely everything. And at this point, the right play is to ult and just run. Ult and run, ult and run, ult and run. But I try to fight it. And you'll notice, when he's able to put things in the wall, it's just... When he can put the vitals in the wall, it's pretty hard to kill him. So this isn't an open area. This isn't a good area to fight Darius. Better off to be like in the lane or in the river or somewhere that's more open. It's just way better that way. But basically, that's like what you don't want to do. And another big thing that you never want to do, just a huge heads up here. If you ever parry Darius's Q, it'll still heal him, so there's no point. The Q is like the worst thing to parry. If anything, I think that the W is the best to parry, and then if it's a last resort, you can parry the R. Obviously, in split, you just outscale him, so you can just kill him. The biggest thing is surviving that early lane. If he tries to go for you at level 1 or level 2 and he ghosts you, ignite him back and be ready to fight. And if you can create some distance, hold on to your parry. If you can find patterns in his E, if he likes to use E at max range or use E when he's standing right on you, then go ahead and parry like that. But basically, this should give you an idea on how to play the lane against Darius. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. And until next time, peace out. See you soon.